Hi, I'm Rebecca, I'm the Psych coach, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a really tough topic of not feeling attractive enough, not feeling good looking enough, not feeling pretty enough, whatever you want to call it. Not feeling good about yourself physically, which can impact you doing things like dating, developing friendships, taking opportunities. The idea of today's talk is to give you 6 tips for you to put into place so you can start feeling better about yourself physically, and as a result of that, start taking on opportunities that are in front of you and feeling more confident to do that. Tip number 1, do what you can to feel good about yourself. If you're not feeling particularly good about yourself or you feel unattractive, it means that you're more likely to not look after the rest of yourself. So if you don't like your size, for example, it may be that you think, well, what's the point in doing my hair? What's the point in wearing clothes that I like because I don't feel good about my size? But actually, if you change those things, you will give yourself a bit of a boost and feel better. There's no point in totally giving into the negativity of how you feel because that will just bring you down. So do what you can to boost yourself. Do engage in self-care. Maybe it means having a shave more regularly. Maybe it means painting your nails. Maybe it means washing your hair. Maybe it means wearing clothes that you like. I don't know, maybe it means wearing things that you find quite flattering. So do look after yourself, even if you don't like your entire self. That just brings you down more. Tip number 2 is focus on the parts of your body that are more attractive. It's really easy to have a negative lens. And if you've got a negative lens, everything you look at goes through this filter of, I don't like anything in front of me. I don't like anything in front of me. But try and take the negative lens off. Consider parts of your body that actually aren't that bad. Maybe you've even got parts of your body that you quite like. Maybe you quite like the shape of your hands. Maybe you quite like your hair. Maybe you quite like your legs. So try and remove the negative lens and look at it through an unbiased lens. Try and zone in on the bits of your body you do like. If you find that really hard, you can also look at the bits of your body that serve you well. Maybe you don't like your body shape, but you're a really good runner, so you can appreciate your legs. Maybe you don't like, your skin, but you can really appreciate your face and your voice because you sing, you do public speaking. Maybe you don't like your stomach and it's got looser skin than you would like, but maybe you've had a child and actually that was the stomach that carried your child. So you can think about your body not just from a it isn't too bad perspective, but you can also think about it from a but these body parts serve me well, and for that I am grateful. And it's just about trying to shift your focus away from the total dislike of your body to the bits where you may not find it so bad, and actually some parts you might find okay, and also the bits that you may find actually serve you quite a purpose to have. Tip number 3, don't spend time in the mirror picking up your flaws. Of course, if you don't like something, you will either want to shy away from it or not look at it at all, or you will obsess about it. You will look in the mirror, you will poke yourself, you'll prod yourself, you'll take multiple photos looking at how much you dislike yourself, and all of that fuels the negative cycle. If you remember back to the point I made earlier about having sort of the negative goggles on, if you're looking at your body, constantly looking for the imperfections and flaws, all you're going to be doing is thickening the negative filter in which you see your body. Try ever so hard to reduce the amount of time you're spending looking in the mirror, focusing on the things you don't like. Try and create a ban where you stop yourself from taking photos to look at all the bits of your body you don't like, to look at how bad you think they are. That is just a negative cycle, and you're not going to get anything from it apart from negativity and further compounding the fact you don't like what you're seeing. So decrease mirror time, decrease taking photos, decrease sort of doing all the skin pinching and feeling yourself. And instead, try and shift your focus away from that onto, as I mentioned in the previous tip, bits of the body that you don't mind, bits of your body that actually are quite well serving to you, instead of the constant negativity and zoning in on the bits you don't like. Tip number 4 is don't put other people on a pedestal. If you feel unattractive and, dare I say it, ugly, not very good looking, you're going to be very prone to putting other people on a pedestal. You might even group entire groups of people together and say, well, everyone from a certain part of the country is far more attractive because they're all going to work out more, or everyone who goes to this place of work is always going to be sort of very focused on how they look and they're all going to be very good looking. It's really common to do that. So don't group people and just assume they're all going to be really good looking and have really good bodies and be really attractive. And don't tell yourself that they are all really amazing and without their bodily imperfections. It's really easy when you're feeling bad about yourself to put other people on a pedestal and think they look so good. They don't have any body problems. If I look like that, I'd feel really good. And the chances are they don't. Chances are they've got bodily imperfections too. And by putting them on a pedestal, of course, you're really decreasing your own self-perception. So try ever so hard not to put people on a pedestal. You may even personally be able to notice some of their imperfections to help you bring them down from the pedestal. And again, whilst you're doing that, try and remind yourself of the bits of you that actually aren't so bad, the bits that you do like. Tip number 5 is banish negative self-talk. You're going to be pretty well versed at this if you don't think you're attractive, if you think you're ugly. You're going to be really well versed at beating yourself up. It probably comes really naturally to you to say, I'm not good enough, I'm ugly, people don't rate how I look, I'm never going to meet anyone because of how I look. And that is such a cruel way of talking to yourself. I would presume if you had a friend who spoke to you like that, you wouldn't stay friends with them because it's cruel, it's nasty, and it doesn't serve a purpose. Yet you do that to yourself the whole time, constantly putting yourself down and beating yourself up. Again, that makes you feel even worse about how you look. So you need to try really hard to banish negative self-talk. That means each time you start going into a really negative, self-downing episode, you've got to try and distract yourself. You've literally got to visualize a stop sign. You've literally got to visualize yourself being removed from a situation into another situation. You've got to shift focus and make yourself think about the last bit of television program that you watched and what was said in that. Anything to get out of that negative self-talk, because it's like a superhighway in your brain. You've done it for months, years probably, and that's a really well-trodden pathway. Stop treading on it so much. Talk to yourself as if you would a friend. Be slightly more compassionate, slightly more kind, and see the benefit of that instead of constantly berating yourself. Tip number 6 is don't avoid opportunities to build relationships. If you feel really bad about yourself, you're likely to shy away from relationships. And I don't just mean romantic ones. I mean professional ones with colleagues. I mean friendships with other people. Because you're not feeling good enough, you may think people don't want to be around you, that you don't bring enough to the table because you're not attractive. And that's simply not going to be the case. Take the opportunity to build friendships, because each time you do that, you're reinforcing to yourself, I am good enough as I am. I might not like my freckles, my skin, my size, my shape, but I'm still good enough. It doesn't mean I'm dislikable. There are bits about myself that are okay. And because I'm such a decent person, people still want to be around me. So don't shy away from relationships, because it's relationships that make us feel better about ourselves. It can become a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy if you avoid relationships because you feel bad about yourself. It then, solidifies the thought process of I'm not good enough, I'm not attractive enough, people don't want to spend time with me, and then you become more and more isolated. So embrace the chance to develop friendships and relationships. So to conclude, do what you can to feel good about yourself. Focus on the bits of you that are attractive. Do not spend time in the mirror picking out your flaws. Don't put other people on a pedestal. Banish negative self-talk. And don't avoid the chance to build relationships. If you've enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I will continue to give you therapeutic and psychological tips to help you on a day-to-day basis.